Okay, we're here at the 29th Sea Turtle Symposium in Brisbane, Australia. Ran into my old buddy here, Diego Amorocho from Colombia. We've known each other for 25
I think more than that.
years, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
It's good to catch up with you, Diego.
It's good.
And hear about some of the cool stuff you're doing in Colombia. Can you just tell us a little bit about your organization and some of the work that you're doing in the Pacific, especially?
Okay, since I was living here in Australia, and since I get back to Colombia in 2003, I set up a NGO, which is called CIMAD in Spanish. It's the acronym for Center for Research and Environmental Management and Development. And we are conducting research and conservation management with sea turtles in the Pacific of Colombia. We are working pretty close with the fishermen, the local villages, especially to reduce sea turtle bycatch. We are replacing circle hooks.
Replacing J hooks with
circle hooks, in order to reduce the mortality of sea turtles caught on the long lines. And we are also conducting research in order to identify the genetic origin of turtles that are laying their eggs on those nesting beaches, and also that are visiting the foraging grounds that we have in the Pacific.
You were telling me earlier that you had trouble because it's hard to get the circle hooks to exchange to the fishermen for the J hooks, and you had a creative solution.
Yeah, we are working on that. The main constraint that we are facing right now is that we don't have any circle hook supply in Colombia. And they're very expensive to import them from the US or wherever. So we are trying to modify the traditional J hooks and converting them into circle hooks. And we are testing how they work. Actually, that's part of our research undergraduate thesis from one of my students over there. So we are testing them right now, and we will see what are the results. Maybe we can come up with something that will be different, and that will sort out our problem.
And some of the other interesting stuff you were telling me had to do with the creation of businesses and business opportunities for local people to help them get out of the vicious cycle of poverty.
Yeah, well, you know that fishermen are associated with poverty in most of the countries. It's kind of synonym thing. So when you talk about poverty, you talk about fishermen and vice versa. So what we are trying to do is to improve their livelihoods, trying to develop different businesses as small businesses on which they can be our partners. So we are trying to set up some kind of new enterprises in partnership with these guys that are working closely with us, providing turtles and helping us saving turtles in that place.
So tell us a little bit about the research that you're doing. You're just finishing up your PhD now here at Monash, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And I know you've been working on this for at least 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
What's the topic of your research?
Well, basically, I have been working on the foraging and nutritional ecology of green turtles. This is an aggregation that is all year round in Gorgona National Park, which is a small island 56 km distant from the continent. And yeah, we have been doing trying to identify what are the main diet components of the animals, what are they ingesting, and what is the nutritional contribution of the food they are consuming over there. And we're also doing some stuff with the genetics, trying to identify where these animals coming from. And we have really interesting findings, as we have found that most of these animals come, one from Mexico, from the nesting rockeries in Michoacan, and the other ones comes from the other side of the Pacific, from the Western Pacific, mainly from Fiji and Micronesia.
Wow, that's cool. Well, love you, man.
Hope to see you there pretty soon.
Okay.
Good on you, mate.